How's it going? Here. Hello, Andrew here. It is time for the weekly Dev Diary, and we're going to be taking a look at what I have been doing or not been doing over the past week in Project Doug. Actually, this will be the last Project Doug Dev Diary for a couple weeks, because I guess that's the first thing to get into. I'm going to be doing a game jam with two other people. So last week I talked about having a meeting with software engineer Dayton. I may have called him Dylan last week. My apologies. Dayton and a good friend of mine, Jim. And we're going to game jam the Godot Wild Jam, which is happening the second Friday of every month. They put on this Wild Jam, and so we decided we're going to participate in that. This is going to be a great chance for me to really learn how to work with the team, how to communicate about game development and game design stuff with other people. It'll be a great chance to see how other people do stuff and learn from them. So I'm super excited about that. But with this happening, there's a lot of stuff to kind of prep that I can do beforehand, and so I am doing that instead of working on Project Doug. That and Blueprints is still just a black hole of my time, but good God, is that game good. Definitely a lot to learn from the way that it's structured, the way that it paces and builds and unfurls things. It's just very well done. I can't recommend it enough. Blueprints is just amazing. But with the jam coming up, I'm going to put that on hold as well, which is going to suck. And so so now CatskullGames is going to be doing a jam with two other people, Dayton and Jim. Dayton, like I said, software engineer. He's got experience programming, which I'm really excited just to see how he works, how he structures things, the way that, he thinks about games and game design, the way he thinks about puzzles, the way he thinks about structuring, the way these things should work, the mechanics of a game, the inputs of a game. His background as a programmer, doing software and stuff, he will have naturally just, I think, a different viewpoint and approach to how should these things be constructed. Same thing with Jim. He's a creative guy. He does music. He's in a band. He's done a game jam before, but coming from that sonic background, his approach to things, the way that he's going to think about putting things together, is going to be different from mine. Both artistic, but visual, sonic, slightly different ways of how do those things come together. And then I'm really excited to see how somebody with any kind of understanding of music works together to use their expertise to enhance this kind of expression. In the past, all the collaborations I've done have been visual art collaborations, and so it's two people who are speaking, the same language in different accents, trying to, come up with a story that they tell. Where this is three people speaking different languages coming together to tell a story, which I'm really excited for. And so just getting their input and navigating a week's development, slightly more than a week's development with these people, and time management and all that stuff. Very, very stoked to see how that works. So keep coming back. The jam starts on the second Friday. That's when the theme will be picked. But even before then, I knew at our first meeting, definitely would want to go through and get just some stuff knocked out. And so we already set up and went through and did a GDD last night. We were able to kind of think about what we wanted to do, how we wanted to approach the jam and structure things. And I know we don't have a lot of time, and so I'm pushing for small scope, easier things that we can just put in and do that won't take a lot. Which already, just looking at the things that we talked about, I'm a little, I just don't know. That's the thing, great time to figure out. I'm concerned that if I was the one doing it on my own, I wouldn't be able to finish this because it'd be too much, but I'm not doing it on my own. So seeing what they can do and how much we can get done as a team, I don't know how to scope that. I don't know what to expect. Very exciting. But we've already come up with some basic concepts for the kind of thing we want to do. Something simple. We talked about cloning a game, doing a snake or something, and we went from deciding that yes, we're going to clone a game to like we should do a Yatzee to a Yatzee-esque to like a roguelike Yatzee game, which is great. I love the natural development that we kind of went through, just brainstorming and spitballing, and everybody contributing to these themes and these ideas, so that we, as a group, decided one thing and then naturally, as a group, deviated. It was beautiful. So we're thinking of a Yahtzee-style game where you roll dice and then you can hold them after you get a certain amount of rolls, and you can hold certain dice to build up a set that you can then play to do damage against a monster. A Yahtzee battle kind of game. Each will be roguelike with alot elements. Basically, you'll be able to change the faces of the dice to modify what happens during the roll. And so we went through, like, that was basically what we came up with. High fantasy visual aesthetic with like a punk sign kind of visual, that kind of aesthetic. And then whatever the theming is of the Godot Jam, because that's the other thing, we don't have a theme yet from the Wild Jam, and who knows what the theme could be. So who knows, but we'll add that into that design doc. We'll go through and we will figure out, okay, how do we move on from there. We have another meeting on Monday where we're each going to pitch out kind of like what we're thinking about is for the game, just to kind of propose that at the end of our last meeting, because we were even going for like 2.5 hours. I was starting to lose steam. Definitely need to end it, and I figured that'd be a good way for us to think about the game, think about what we wanted to do, and then kind of present it to each other real quick, an elevator pitch that we can kind of, oh, what are the things we like? How do we marry these into a thing? And how do we start just having this conversation and thinking about this before the jam starts, so that we're kind of in the zone for it, so we can hit the ground running. At least that's what I'm thinking about as far as how do we jam together. So I'm super excited for this. I'm going to be writing up my own elevator pitch for the way that I see the game currently working, as well as looking at just like starting a mood board and kind of trying to put that stuff together to feel out like, ooh, what are we thinking with this? So that when the theme comes out, I can pivot that and then kind of mix the theme, fold the theme into it. So that's where we're at. This is going to be a new playlist, the CatskullGameing Wild Jam experience devlog. Because this is a Wild Jam, I'm going to see if I can't do a little bit more live recording of some of the sessions and things going on. Try to contextualize things into a more kind of cooler narrative about the whole experience, since it is a nice contained little story. I don't know, yeah, we'll see. So that's what's been going on this week. Thank you guys for coming. Check me out every Sunday at around 7. I'm playing Lorelei and the Laser Eye, getting close to knocking that off the list. I think I'm at 70-something% according to the game. So come check that out. That game is also amazing. Different from Blueprints in the way that it grabs you, but just as good. Another puzzly, thinky game, and having a great time with it. So 7 p.m. Sundays, check that out, Eastern Time now. And like, subscribe, comment on the video if you have any ideas. If you see cool things, have suggestions, let me know. If you're in the Godot Wild Jam, say hi, CatskullGameing. Check out the Wild Jam. I'll be posting links if you want to join the jam in the stuff down below. And then when the jam's done, come check out the games. It's going to be a good time. Put it on your calendar. And I will see you next time. Bye! Jam, 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 jam. Jelly.